Hi everybody, Micheline from Micheline Makes here again. I'm in a good mood. Yes, definitely in a good mood because I've just done a little trick and I want to show you this little trick. I saw this on Instagram, I think it was, and I thought, what a great idea. This is what I'm wearing is a well, it's not a it's a, I bought it for the summer. I was telling you about this cotton, this linen knit that I got in TK Maxx, and I liked it because it was very cool, and I wanted something because we've been having some really hot weather. I wanted something that would be, so I wanted some linen that would stop me from sweating too much. So I saw these in, let me go back, I had originally bought two from TK Maxx and I loved them. They were just a v-neck jumper like this. And I thought, oh, I'll get some more because they weren't very expensive. I think the ones that I bought from TK Maxx were about £12 or £13. So I looked online and I found that H&M, which is another shop, was selling them cheap in their sale. But the only ones they had were a size 22, and I think they were very big sizes. And they were about £9, and I thought, oh, I think I'll go for those, and if I've got to, I'll take them in. So I got them, and they're nice and baggy, which is what I like. I'll stand back a bit to let you see. They're nice and baggy, and I like that. But what I had to do was I just basically ran a seam right the way down there from the shoulder. I lifted them up here. So I took them up there and I just ran the seam all the way down here to the cuff. But when I'm wearing this, sometimes it goes down there and I don't like showing my cleavage. So I saw this, yes, just this morning, just this afternoon rather. In fact, I've seen it before, but I thought it was a great idea. And so I've picked up a button, a pink button. Got a hair hanging there. Picked up a pink button from my button box, but I also tried it with these medals that we've got. These medals, we sell these medals, and at first I tried it with this and I thought, oh, that's quite good. You put that there and then you get a piece of elastic. I've just made a piece of elastic from just a bit of elastic. I've tied a knot in it, and you turn it over and you catch the elastic round it, and you end up like this, and it pulls it up and it makes like a little gather there, and it stops you feeling as if you're showing your cleavage. So I tried this with the medal, and this is giving a nice reflection here. So then I thought, oh, let's try it with a button. So this is a big button. I mean, this is peach and this is pink, so it really clashes. Maybe I should go for a different colour. Hang on a sec. So let's try a turquoise button. Turquoise button with my thread. Button goes there, with my elastic rather. Button goes there, the elastic goes over the top. I think probably if I could have made the elastic go wrap twice round like that, but I can't. I haven't got it tight enough. But that there, I've got a little turquoise button with 4 holes in. Doesn't that look okay? So let's try another one. I've got a button here that I bought in France, and I liked it, but I never ever got round to using it. A diamante one, which has the hole there, the little hook thing. So let's try that, see what that looks like. Take that out. So that's going to be like that. You see, a nice glowy thing. Let's take that out and try this. So it goes like that, and this goes round the outside of it like that. So what basically I'm tying it round the button like that. And look at that. I have got a little diamante button there. I think I preferred the pink one, to be honest. I think I've got that too low down. Let's go further up with that. And I think, well, let's go for this one. It's getting a bit worn now. I'm stretching this fabric. Look what it's doing to the fabric, so I shouldn't do it too often. And the other way you could do it is the opposite way, where you put the button behind here and put your elastic round the outside like that. and then you've got a little button there. See? That just adds a bit of attractiveness to it. It's a lot better there. So that is with my medal. I think the weight of the medal is probably going to pull the linen down a bit. But I thought that was a good idea. I thought it was quite trendy. Anyway, what have we been doing? I have been... I'll have to go further away because I've got your balance on top of my sewing machine. And if I go closer, I'll not cut my head off. We are in the school holidays, as you all know. And we're on week 4. Week 1... We had his lordship's grandchildren for a few days. Week 2, my family had a reunion up in Northumberland at Amble, where we go every year. And it was lovely because my sister, 79-year-old sister in France, came on her own by train to... She got the train from where she lives in southwest France. Got a bit panicky in Paris because obviously the day before had been a rail strike in the UK and there were queues all over trying to get back into England on the trains, and she was a bit worried and she had to stand a long time, and she said that by the time she got on the train she was A, relieved, and B, quite exhausted. But she then got the train to London, then had to go back down to Canterbury where my brother lives, and they brought her all the way up the country for our reunion, and she was thrilled to bits because she hadn't been in England since before COVID. She was desperate to come back to her home surroundings, her birth surroundings, and we had a wonderful time. And I'm sure she enjoyed herself. She has said several times that she's enjoyed herself, so I'm sure she has. And the other thing she was pleased about was she'd come from a 40-degree heat in France, and she was saying, "Oh, I'm going to be relieved when the temperature's dropping." However, we have had very hot weather in England. Couple of days really too hot. There have been some fires, and my son-in-law is a fireman, and he was having to attend some fires on commons down southwest of London. There was a few going on, and he was saying that it gets quite scary, some of them. Anyway, so I had a great week in Amble, and towards the end of this, if I have time, I'll stick some little videos up to let you see. And then week 3, we came back here, and my 2 granddaughters stayed with us for a week, and his 2 granddaughters stayed with us, so they had a little girly get together. Had them until this week, until his granddaughters went away on Sunday, and my 2, we drove down to Leicester and handed them over to their father on Monday. So it's now Friday, and I have both of us have just gone, oh. We'll just decide, we'll just relax and do what we wanted to do. And I said, I'm going into my shed and I'm not coming out for ages. You can do what you like. So he has sat and played cards on his phone. He's gone and played his guitar. And it's lovely because for 3 weeks we've been kind of child minding, and it's lovely. It's just a really nice let your hair down time where you can do what you like. Well, I've had a wonderful time with them, but it's lovely to have time on your own. So we are chilling. We've been doing a few things, doing things in the house, and I have been sewing. All through this, when I've had a chance, I have been sewing, and I've made a few things which I need to show you sometime. But I think I'll leave that till the next one. I'm going to try and get a couple of vlogs in it, and I might see if I would love to be able to try and do daily vlogs, or not necessarily daily, but more vlogs in the week, because I know a lot of you like the conversation. But it's every time I think, well, I'm going to do them, then something stops me, and then it gets put back. So watch this space. I might try and get a few more vlogs in for you. So what do I want to tell you? I want to first of all answer some of your questions. I got a bit frustrated because I've read everybody's comments. When they go up, I read them. Every day I check to see how many people have viewed the vlogs, and I read all the comments associated with those vlogs. And as I say, I haven't had much chance to answer them. But I went through the other day and I was answering quite a lot of them actually. I was in the car, passenger in the car, so I started dictating them the answers. I've got a piece of hair that's driving me round the bend here. Where's it coming from? There. Chop it off. But so I started answering them, and then last night I thought, oh, I'll try and get some more done. And when I looked again, the ones that I had thought I'd answered were showing that they hadn't been answered. So I don't know if I have. If I did think I'd answered you, and I did think I'd given you a response, but then it told me I hadn't. So I apologise. I didn't want to go and do it all over again. So I'm going to read these ones out. These are things, there's about 5 that I've kind of pulled out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 4 or 5? Four that I've pulled out that I just want to answer your questions. And the first one is Jane Dover. Hi Jane. And Jane says, loved your vlog. I talk back to you all the time, but watch on my TV, so I can't comment most of the time. Oh, there's that hair again. There's a hair. There it is. Maybe it might be better. Sorry Jane. Loved your vlog. I talk back to you all the time, but watch on my TV, so I can't comment most of the time. But tonight I was looking at Lacala patterns while I listened. I too keep my cards in my bra and sometimes my phone. My best friends call it the Bank of Jane. Tell His Highness I can relate to his IKEA work because he was assembling a desk in one of the episodes and he was absolutely shattered. I've just spent 4 days putting together a day bed. Tonight I'm in pain, getting too old for this kind of thing at 68. I know how you feel, Jane, because he's just moaning about his shoulder hurting. I've been moaning about my knee hurting, and it's just awful that, you know, as you get older, you don't want to have these aches and pains, but you get them. And she said, there are all sorts of beaches in the US. Here in Oregon, where I live, and so does Lorianne, the water is really cold because of the Arctic current along the coast. I really enjoy your channel. So that was really lovely from Jane. I just thought it was really nice. She was basically relating to everything that I've done and to, you know, just showing you that we're all the same. We all have aches and pains. We all have issues with assembling things. And it's true, I put my phone down my bra sometimes, and I carry everything, quite often carried, and I have to be wary because you're not really supposed to put your phone down your bra. Anyway, the reason why I wanted to mention Jane as well is Lorianne has had a visitor stopping with her, and the visitor is from the UK. She's from York, which is the next city down from us. And she is Judy from Running So and So. She's staying with Lorianne for a few days, and she's been attending Lorianne's sewing class, some quilting class that Lorianne goes to. She's also been having friends. Lorianne's had other people who she knows, people that have come to join them, and they've all been having a little sew together, and they have been having little chats, and there's been the odd different people coming in. She's there for a few days, I think days 9 or maybe 10 days I think it is, and she's been meeting some of Lorianne's friends, and Susie and Michelle Bolter, and I've had to write them down because I couldn't remember their names, but she's also been meeting Peggy from Sew House 7. So if you want to look at those, Running So and So, look at her vlogs and you'll see she's a very amiable person, very chatty, and even when she's in the UK, she meets up with a lot of different people. So it's well worth looking at and watching the vlog. They are having fun. They're enjoying themselves, and you can tell that they're having fun. A right little ladies get together sewing. Right, and the next one that I got was from let me see, Hazel Blair. Now Hazel lives in Spain. They've been having overwhelming hot weather. And I think I told you that she'd had an injury with her arm. I think her muscles or her tendons had come away from her bone or something. And she said, she wrote to me 4 weeks ago, and she said, while watching your video, it's 3:25 a.m. I think Hazel has been getting up in the night time because it's been so hot during the day for her. and the temperature is 24 degrees. During the day, we all become puddles. In the daytime, I remove my sling. It's just too hot. Recovering well, but my arm is quite rigid and painful. My three are giving me My three, that's a 2 sons and a husband, are giving me physio 3 times a day. Painful, but well worth it. I've tried running a bit of fabric under the sewing machine, but I can't manage that yet. But my left hand typing is coming along in leaps and bounds, although very slow. Question: if you made a patchwork top, is there a certain way to do the seams, or the seams as normal? I've been given quite a few shirts, most never worn, and I fancy a tunic top made with squares of random shapes. Love to you both. Do it on my little banana. I'm doing it on paper though, so you'll have to forgive me. And because Angela said, why didn't you use your banana when you were showing us how to do stretch stitching? And I'd when I was making that Lacala top, and I'd completely forgotten to show you how to do it. I'd forgotten to do it. I used my brother. So, say for example, and I've just used this paper because it was close at hand, it's a post-it note. Switch that off, bring that up, that there, up there, and move that for the moment. Right. If you've got your 2 pieces of squares like that, you sew down the seam like that, and I would press it. Personally, this is how I would do it, but I want you people who are quilters to tell me otherwise. I would press it so that the seam is like that. Press them apart. That's how I would do it if I was doing a shirt together. But I suppose you could put them that way and then run your stitch down that side, down there, just to keep it together. Probably, when I think about it, probably pushing it all to one side and going down one side, that would reinforce that seam. So probably doing it like this. Let me try it. Ooh, and sticky stuff sticking to the thing. My paper was going all over the place there because my sticky stuff was... I'm using a post-it note, and the post-it note has glue on it. I would probably stitch down, I mean, excuse me, it's not straight because, can you see that? Get in focus. I would probably stitch it down like that so you've got more reinforcement for the squares won't come apart. So that's what I would do. Whether you quilters would do that, I don't know, but you can let us know what you think. Now the downside to having a coin or a medal inside this hole is it's quite heavy and it's dragging it down. So if you put anything in, you need something light. So yes, Hazel, that's the way I would do it. I would sew down the seam and then I'd press it to one side and sew down that pressed side so that it gives it a bit more strength. So, and Hazel, I hope you are getting on the mend. I did mention the other day, that was 4 weeks ago that you wrote this and I just got round to answering, but I hope you're on the mend. I hope everything's getting better for you. Then the next one is Jan Hamblin. And she says, hi Micheline, in this vlog you were talking about polyester and it made me think when I was a teen I used to make my own clothes and I wore lots of hot pants. I was slim then. And I used to make them out of crimpline. I can't remember how you spell it. Well, I think you spelt it right actually, Jan. Can you still buy it as it was so easy to sew with? I've never seen it here in Australia, but back in the UK in the 60s and the 70s it was very popular and I made the same pattern in many different colours. I wouldn't mind using some now. They don't mention crimpline anymore these days, But when I bought some what they class as ponte, I think that black stuff, there's one of my vlogs, I'll show you how you can do stretched fabric on an ordinary sewing machine. When I was using that, which was a black ponte, and I don't think I've got any close at hand to show you, it was a black ponte, which when I looked at it, I thought, well, that's crimpline. It's like a rough textured, I would say that it was equivalent to crimpline, or they changed the name and they call it ponte. So personally, I would say crimpline is ponte. This is some black that I bought under the title of ponte. And to me, it is very like the crimpline that I used to get. We used to have a factory called the Courtaulds factory, near where we lived. It actually made this kind of fabric, and it's stretchy both ways. It stretches that way, stretches that way. This is a finer ponte, what they call a ponte. I've made a coat with it. I've made a few things with it. I bought about 4 meters, and I've still got tons left. Got quite a lot left here. But this is like a ponte, and well, this is a ponte, but it's very like the crimpline that I used to get. They used to also have it used to be a cotton type of knitted crimpline, which is very similar to the cotton jersey, only it was thicker. I always thought it was thicker. But yes, and some of the jacquard, they used to do a jacquard one that was like a tartans, and you know, basically I think they're just knitted jersey. I think the crimpline was the polyester version. It wasn't the cotton jersey. It was always a polyester, as far as I knew. At the Courtauld factory that I used to go to, that was what they used to sell, this kind of stuff. Do you know, I still got a flipping hair there. She then said, I hope you're coping with the extreme heat. We are hearing on the news at the moment the extreme heat that we are hearing about on the news at the moment. We're used to high 30s and even 40s, but it must be a huge shock to you. Take care and keep cool. Take care and keep cool and keep up your fluids. We had, the last time I remember it being this hot was the year my daughter was born, in 1976, and it was unbearable. And I remember we had standpipes. Water dried out, and we all had to have a big tank at the end of the street where we could fill our buckets with water to have in the house. So yes, it's happened before. It's unbearable, but the reason why it's unbearable, and no doubt if you've been watching other vlogs, is because we don't have air conditioning. And because we don't have air conditioning, because we're not used to it, it's very, very warm. So instead we've been taking lots of showers. I've been having a shower. I think the hottest day I had about 2 or 3 showers to cool down. I kept saying, God, I can't believe this. But I was very fortunate because in our business it used to get hot. We had in the summer, in our place of work that we used to have, it didn't have any windows, but it used to get very, very hot. And so his lordship went across the road to this machinery shop and came back with a reconditioned second-hand air conditioner, a mobile one that you wheel around. And so every time it got hot, we used to wheel it round and have this big hose that went out right out to the building to let the hot air out, and this cold air came in, and we loved it. But then we stopped using it because obviously the weather wasn't so hot. And when we closed down, I said, what are you going to do with that? Do you think we should bring it, because it'll be handy for the conservatory? So we brought it, and it's been doing nothing for a while. And then, of course, I was sitting here and here working, and I said, I can't cope with this heat. I was like a red balloon. And so then I suddenly thought, oh, I'm going to lift that in. It was very heavy. And at first I said to him, can you help me? But he was doing something. I thought, oh, I'm sick of asking him to do things. I'm going to do it myself. So I wheeled this big. It was like a mini dishwasher size, and I wheeled it to the bottom, and then lifted it in, and I had the hose pipe. I had it pointing outwards for the heat to go out, and that was absolutely refreshing. But I don't like air conditioned air because it's like I don't know, it's not a real cool air, it's kind of a cold air, but it's manufactured, if you see what I mean. Didn't feel right, but yes, it kept me cool. So, but I think we've got through the worst of it. We've still got some hot weather, but I think we're getting some decent, it's not been too bad. The weather's not too bad. In fact, at the moment, it's quite cold. I was just saying to him, maybe we should put the heating on, because it's been raining and it's very cold. And typically English, one day you get the sunshine, the next day you get the rain. Right, Kez44P said, I think you need to make a triangular bean bag to prop your phone up in bed. And that's a good idea, actually. I did buy an IKEA thing that was a phone stand, but it's so feminine, so fragile. I think it's made of bamboo, that every time you touch it, the whole thing makes a noise. And so I just gave up on it. Alison Williams said, Micheline, you brighten up my day with your chats. I'm encouraged that you say as you get older you lose weight. I do hope so. I'm sat here in my sewing room over the garage, so no usable straight walls, so fabric is in plastic boxes. I'm trying to reorganise as I can't sew in this mess any longer. I have far too much fabric, but just finished 25 fold-away shopping bags that used up lots of my fat quarters. Debbie Shaw pattern. Oh, she's done a Debbie Shaw pattern of 25 fold-away shopping bags. Oh, that's interesting, Alison. You must... Let's see if I can find it. Alison, that's very interesting. I'm going to put the link below for Debbie Shaw. She's actually got a vlog called How to Sew a Fold-Away Tote Bag by Debbie Shaw. And if that is good, you could use up a lot of your fat quarters for it and give everybody one for Christmas. That would be a great idea. I'll show you what it's like, what she shows you. Let me just show you here.
My So Eco-Friendly book. I'll show you that in just a second. But it's a reusable bag that you can keep in your handbag, you can keep in the glove compartment of your car, so you've always got a shopping bag to hand. But it folds away quite neatly as well. So if you place this face down, you can see there is a popper on the back. I'm going to fold the handles in, and then the long sides to the centre. Oh, flap up. Long sides to the centre, then fold it once, fold it twice, and fold the flap down. So you've got a really nice compact little bag which is easy to store. I'm sure you're going to be making lots of these. They're really easy as well.
So Alison's been making those, and so as I say, I'll put the link down below. I think that's a good idea to use some of your fabric that way. I have been getting most irritated, well, not, I wouldn't say most irritated. I have a lot of fabric, and I have to confess I have still been buying some fabric, and I have been making the fabric that's come through the door. But what I'm doing also is I'm making a lot of the things, I'm using up a lot of my fabric. I've turned out quite a few things, and I'll have to, I would have shown you now, but I want to film me wearing some of these things, so I want you to see what they look like on, and then I'll do a little vlog to let you see that. But I am trying to turn out as much as I can, and trying to use up the really old fabric as well, stuff that I've had a long time, and not just waste it, but make some good use of it. And I figured, so yes, I think that tote bag is a good idea, and because it's early enough, it's August. You've got till December if you want to make some tote bags as little presents to give to everybody. It's a good idea. I don't think you can go wrong with a little shopping bag that you can stick in your handbag. Anyway, next one was from, Vicky H said, as always, I enjoyed your visit. I stick my cell phone in my bra when I use a public toilet. I fear if I put it in my pocket it might fall in the water. I do that sometimes. I stick my phone down here, but sometimes we have to lean across to the top to flush the toilet, and I always have to go like that because I'm always frightened it drops out with having a bigger bust. I think, oh God, it'll drop out and I'm going to end up losing it down the toilet as well. Having said that, His Lordship's son dropped his down the toilet once and he was gutted. And the answer was, we immediately threw it into a bag of rice. We got a Tupperware box, poured some rice in, stuck the phone in, covered it with rice on top and bottom, and left it overnight. And when he took it out in the morning, it was working. But I did suggest that he cleaned it with a bit of disinfectant because it had been down the toilet. Anyway, and she says, I sometimes forget and walk around with a square boob, but not usually for too long. My mum always stuck her money in her bra. God help someone if they ever tried to pinch her money. Try to stay cool. It's been all over on news in the US about the heat and all the fires in Europe. I have to say, my sister was saying that there's been an awful lot of fires in France. Unbelievable amount of fires. Marge Nusby. What a delightful and lovely afternoon. Oh, this was the trip to Lumley Castle. Your hubby made me smile with his comment on the wenches. Here in Texas, since 1974, there's an annual event called the Texas Renaissance Festival, and it's pretty epic and has about 500,000 visitors. It's on 55 acres, and the workers are all dressed in medieval. The workers are all dressed in medieval clothes, and there are jousts, drink, and yes, wenches serve the food. Attendees can also dress the part as well. I have to confess I've never been, as it may be a bit too medieval for me. I would enjoy the castle. I think I've noticed that a lot of young people are doing more what you call cosplay, where they like getting dressed up for these kind of events and these kind of things. We've got a show called Kinran that is in one of the towns further towards the hills, and they basically reenact jousting, they reenact all these other historical medieval things. So it's and I'd love to go and see it. I haven't been yet, but I'm quite keen to go and see it. But yeah, it sounds like it's quite interesting. That a lot of people, 500,000 though. But if I said to him, "Shall we go to this thing?" and there's 500,000 people going to be there, he'd say, "Not on your Nelly, I'm not going there." He doesn't do crowds. If he's got a queue, he doesn't do it. And there has been occasions where I've just looked and I thought, we're not going to go here because there's a queue. Those of you who watch my Instagram will see that I have been putting little tips that I've been sourcing all over the place, and I've been putting little sewing tips, and if you go on there you get some good ideas. I'm finding all these little sewing tips that are about sewing seams and things, and I think you might find them interesting. So if you go to me at Micheline Makes, you will find them, and on Instagram, and there's some interesting ones. Ursula keeps saying, "Golly, where do you get these from?" And what, they're really good. Oh, I like this one, I like that one. There's a lot of you say that, so there's some really good tips and hints, not created by me but sourced by me. I find them all over the place, and I'm just trying to put them all together to make it easier for you to see. And what else do I want to tell you? Well, I've probably gone on for long enough because I want to get this uploaded. The time that's consuming is getting it uploaded, and I think if I do shorter ones, I might get more. I might get A, more subscribers, and B, I might get more up, be able to upload more vlogs. So I think we'll leave it there, and I'm going to love you, and I'm going to leave you, and I'll catch you next time.
Oh!
So, me and hubby, his lordship, and the granddaughters and the grandsons have been to Amble again for a week. And this lady here with the 6-inch top knot on her head to make it taller, has been with the other family in the sea every day swimming, and we've had lovely weather, and now we should be heading off home for a week to stop with me, but his lordship wants to treat them to Spirelli's ice cream, so we'll take you there to see it. Well, we've been for the ice cream, and these little girls are coming to our house, and I'm going to turn around in a minute and they can say bye-bye to Amble as we head back down to County Durham. 1, 2, 3. Bye, Amble!
It was nice
Bye.
to be
It was nice.
here. Bye bye, Amble. I drank almost of all your beer. Bye bye, Amble.
I think we'll stop there. Bye!